Hello everyone, this is Hussein Hashim from WhatsApp Media Network. Lately we have seen an increase in false threats against schools, taking away resources and spreading fear and anxiety within the community. In this video, we're going to talk about the legal consequences that students will face if they make such false claims and threats. I made this video in Arabic, but many parents requested that we do this in English so they can show it to their kids, and this is what we're doing. So if a student, regardless of their age, make a threat on social media, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever the case that might be, what could be the charges that they could face? And are they any student in court right now charged with anything similar to what we're going to be presenting today? Watch this video, this is going to be very important. The first charge is basically called threat of terrorism. It's 20 years in prison and or $20,000 and reimburse the government for expenses incurred from the violation. That's one. Second, false threat of terrorism. Also 20 years in prison and or $20,000 fine, and also reimburse the government for expenses incurred from violation. And that one, false threat of terrorism, many of the cases that we're going to talk about in a bit, students are being charged with that. Next one. Use of internet, telecommunication to commit terrorism. Use of internet and telecommunication. 20 years in prison and or $20,000 fine, and also reimburse the government for expenses incurred from violation. Next one. Intentional threat to commit an act of violence against a school. 1 year misdemeanor and or $1,000 fine. See how serious the stuff that you guys are doing on social media, thinking it's a joke, or I don't feel like taking the test, or I don't feel like going to school. It has a huge legal consequences. Next one, intentional threat to commit act of violence against school employees or students with a specific intent to carry out or overt act toward. 10 years in prison and or $20,000 fine. Next one, use of a computer to commit a crime. Generally, the same as the crime that we listed before, committed up to a maximum of 20 years in prison. Okay, this is the law. This is what the law says. But many will say, oh, this is the law, but they will not apply it. We're young, we're 13 years old, we're 14 years old, we're just joking around. Nothing will happen. Well, this is not the case, because we are seeing an increase of cases. So far, 12 students have been charged in Wayne County. 7 students have been charged in Oakland County. 5 students and 5 cases in Macomb County, and 2 charged in Washtenaw County. Students. You want the ages? Here we go. In Wayne County, as you can see, a 14-year-old has been charged with a false report or threat of terrorism. 16 years old in high school, also false report or threat of terrorism. 13 years old, for those who say that I'm 13 years old, nobody will come after me legally. A 13 years old is being charged also for false report and threat of terrorism. Okay, and you guys remember the legal consequences that I talked about a few minutes ago? Another 13 years old in Belleville, 14 years old in Detroit. Also another 13 years old also being charged with a false report or threat of terrorism. A 13 years old female in Detroit also with a false report or threat of terrorism. So, what do you guys think? There were a press release yesterday from Dearborn Police saying any fake threat against schools will carry, and possibly, which is what we've seen so far, has been carrying criminal charges. And even the chief of police yesterday in Dearborn, he mentioned that even parents could possibly face charges because of those threats. Okay? We've seen in every part of the country, whether you live in Michigan, whether you live in New York, whether you live in California, or in Michigan, whether you live in Dearborn or in Dearborn Heights or in any city. We're seeing every day an increase of students that think it's fun to basically make such threats to the school. I will look cool in front of my friends. This is some of them, that's the reason. Or, I don't feel like taking the test, so let me make a threat so they can close the school and I don't have to go to the school. And others, because they're facing some mental issues or they're being bullied in school. If you are someone that's being bullied in school, make sure you talk to someone. Talk to your parents, talk to a counselor, or talk to the administration at school. Seek help, and there is help. For those who are making fake profiles, thinking that no one will be able to catch them because they're not using their actual name and they're not using their actual pictures. Well, 90% of those cases and threats that have been made, they've been made from fake profiles. And guess what? 100% of those cases have been identified and tracked down by the authorities. It's not just local police. When you make a threat, it's not just local police who looks into this. Usually the sheriff department in the county that you live in gets involved, the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and also the Secret Service. So this is a very big deal. In terms of legal consequences, it's a very big deal, as you guys can see from the charges, whether in terms of prison life, whether in terms of monetary fines, or in terms of the fear that you guys are spreading in the community. So please don't take this as a joke. For those who are being now charged, those cases that I listed, whether in Wayne County or in other counties, when it comes to Wayne County, the Wayne County prosecutor said that juveniles do not receive adult sentences. If they are convicted, a judge will decide their sentence and place of rehabilitation. That could be a mental health treatment center or a juvenile detention center. This is a big deal. Please, if you're listening to this video, don't make such jokes, don't make such false threats. It's not a joke. And like I said, if you need help, help is there. If you're being bullied in school, but please take this very seriously. And for the sake of everyone, focus on your study and stay away from such deadly jokes. Thank you. And again, this was Hussein Hashim from WhatsApp Media Network.